Aha, there we go. You are live. Okay, so first things first, Jo can see herself just fine, but I can't see her at all. I can hear her okay though. So if you are watching the live, if you could comment and let us know, can you see Jo? Where is Jo?
Where's Jo? Where's Wally?
Exactly. Exactly. It's like, where's Waldo? Where is Jo?
Where's Jo? I'm lurking.
Yeah, it's so strange because it worked totally fine when we started.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So, Jo, I have got some slides. So I'm just going to go through those real quick. And then Jo and I are going to have a chat. Right. I think what I want to do is use that layout. Yes. Hi, okay, Fleur. Fleur can't see you either, Jo. So it's not just me.
Oh, it's not just you. Should I leave and come back?
Yes. Why don't you do that? Because I'll be prattling on for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Right. My name's Deanne, and I'm from Small But Kind of Mighty, and I'll give you a really quick intro in a moment. I'm here with Jo from Woolly Wonders by Jo. Jo was having technical difficulties, so she's left and she's coming back. But we are going to chat in a sec about her work as a crochet designer. Yes!
Hey, I'm back.
Excellent. Fleur asked if you'd got the camera lens closed, which seems...
That is something I would do, but that wasn't it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and Joanne's here as well. Brilliant. Joanne from Made with Love and Fibres, who was our featured designer on the blog hop yesterday with the lovely Clarion multi-way scarf.
That was very pretty.
I have to try and remember all of these names. So yes. So Jo and I are going to talk about her work as a crochet designer, the Relax and Hook event I'm hosting this month, as well as have a little chat about crochet as therapeutic crafting. Jo is offering the crochet pattern for her Honeycomb Shawl, a picture of which you can see here, for free on Monday as part of the Relax and Hook blog hop. So keep watching to find out how to make sure you don't miss that free download. Joanne was telling me earlier, Joanne Fowler was telling me earlier that she had like over 500 downloads or something yesterday.
That's fantastic.
Which is brilliant.
Congratulations. That's lovely.
That's so good. But everybody thought it was so pretty. It's such a unique pattern.
It was lovely.
Right. So who is this chat for? This would be for folks who want to learn to crochet, or you're a crocheter, or you're interested in how crochet can help you manage things like depression, anxiety, stress, just general overwhelm, and instead help create feelings of productive calm. And if this applies to you, then if you're watching on YouTube, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss a video. And if you're watching on Facebook, then say hi, because we've only got YouTubers here so far. So feel free to join the Relax and Hook event and my crochet Facebook group. And Facebook is driving me absolutely batty this morning, if anybody has noticed.
I noticed that.
It's like, I appreciate that they have a way to filter out comments which seem to be spam. But I think by definition, if you're commenting on your own post, probably not spamming your own post. But anyway, yes, regardless of the platform you're watching this video on, please do comment, even if it's just to say hello, because it helps the content be seen. And let me know in the comments if you're watching the video live or if you're watching the replay. Give the video a like and share it if you find it interesting. It's going to be fascinating, trust me. Quick intro to me if we haven't met yet. My name's Deanne, and I am a crocheter, designer, and crochet teacher. And I was just saying to Joe that I'm originally from the UK. You can probably tell from my accent. But I've lived in Canada since 1996. I've dealt with both major and chronic depression and anxiety for a couple of decades. And I have ADHD. So if I seem scattered, I am. I embrace it. And both my sons are autistic, so we're very familiar with brains that process information differently. I teach therapeutic crochet as part of my program, which has a really long-winded title, but I think it's, that's me. So the Relaxed Creative, master mindful crochet and enjoy therapeutic crafting anytime, anywhere, and every day. I wanted to just really briefly talk about what mindful crochet is, because this is a mindful crochet blog hub, and not everybody knows what that means. So first off, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is simply a way of paying attention to the present moment, using techniques like meditation, breathing, and yoga. It helps us practice detachment from our thinking or doing brain and helps us learn to just be. So our thinking brain is what gets us into trouble when we are worrying or we
criticizing ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Those negative thought patterns. We get into remembering and revisiting things in the past that obviously we can't do anything about, or we get too bogged down in planning that we don't actually, what we end up doing is living in the past or living in the future, and life, which is in the present, is just passing us by. So how does mindfulness help? Evidence suggests that mindfulness practice has positive effects on whole person health. So it includes your mind, your body, the actual physical structure, architecture of the brain is changed. The amygdala, which is like our lizard brain, it's the oldest part of our brain, and it is what puts us into fight and flight response when we're under stress or in danger. The amygdala actually shrinks because of when people undergo several weeks of mindfulness practice. So I know, it's cool, isn't it?
But it's really interesting, because I had ME, or chronic fatigue syndrome, for a long time, for about 10 years. And it was a form of mindfulness and cognitive behavioral therapy that helped me get well. And the doctor who I worked with, his theory was that it was the amygdala that was causing the problem, because I was getting stuck in fight or flight response, and that over stress of the brain is what caused the fatigue and the pain. So it was really, it is surprising just how much it manifests in your body.
It does. And fight, flight, freeze is terrific. It's what kept us alive. It ensured our survival as a species. But the problem is that now it's triggered by things like I'm running late. Or it's like our brain goes into an overreaction, and
the news as well,
and it's just not useful. It's not helpful. It's not healthy. Anyway, so mindfulness has been shown to help with stress, anxiety, depression, addiction, as well as physical problems. Joe was just talking about ME. I have high blood pressure, heart disease, chronic pain, all that stuff. Good stuff. So what the heck does this have to do with crochet? Well, crochet and knitting have similar benefits to mindfulness practice. So I link to a video and blog post, and I'll talk a bit about where you can find the links later, that I put together outlining my top 5 physical and mental health benefits from crocheting. And they're very similar to the benefits derived from mindfulness practice. So by just crocheting, you are doing yourself a world of good. But mindful crochet isn't just crochet. When we crochet mindfully, we actually bring our full and complete attention to our craft. In the same way as you might focus on breathing as part of meditation, we focus on crocheting. So we focus on what the yarn feels like in our hands, actually making the stitch, what the fabric looks like. It's basically just totally zoned in on crochet. So crocheting provides us with, for those of us like me who find meditation really difficult, crochet gives us sort of like a really tangible, hands-on meditative experience. So there you go. That's my blather. So because of the benefits that I derived from crochet, that's why I put together this therapeutic crochet program. And one of the participants in the program is Jen, and there's a picture of her here with her rainbow shawl that she just finished 2 weeks ago, I think.
That's lovely.
Right. So in March, she started the program at the end of March. She couldn't crochet. And now she's doing this. So she says, I would tell anyone interested in learning crochet who is struggling to find a constructive mode of self-care and who is looking to belong to a like-minded, empathetic and supportive community to consider the investment in Deanne's program as an investment in yourself. You won't regret it. So yay. So Relax and Hook came out of the Relax Creative. I wanted to find patterns for the participants in the program that weren't just stuff designed by me, but were things that they could make that gave them a relaxing, meditative, mindful crochet experience. So that's why I pulled together all of these patterns. There's 21 designers participating, including Joe. And there's a blog hop component, which involves basically going to my blog every day, and one of the patterns featured in the event is free each day. And there's also an ebook, which is for sale during the month of September only. So as of tomorrow, you've only got a week left if you want to try and get the ebook, which it contains all 30 patterns in the blog hop and like a ton of bonus content. So yeah, people have really been enjoying Relax and Hook. The feedback has been really good. I've been so happy.
It's been lovely comments. It's been really nice watching it.
Yeah. It's just been such a positive experience. Like, everybody seems to have really enjoyed it. There hasn't been any complaining. Which is really lovely. So yeah, I think it's been a positive experience for the crocheters who are enjoying the patterns, and also the designers, I think, have had a great time. So yeah, that's made my day.
Really. Oh, there's me.
And there's the back of Joe's head.
Yes.
She's modeling. She's modeling the shawl, which she's got hanging up in the back there. I think.
Yep, just there. Right. I wanted to show it up close when we start to talk about it, just to show it up close a bit so you can see the pattern a bit more.
Yes. All right. So, Joe, over to you. tell us who you are, what you do.
Well, I'm Jo, and I am 47 on Monday, which is when my blog hop day is. So I thought that's a nice birthday present to myself.
Amazing.
I've been crocheting since I was little. I think I was probably about 7 or 8, and was taught by a volunteer at my primary school. Um, I I could knit as well, because my mum and my gran both knitted, so I can do both, but I much prefer crochet. Um, and it's always been a hobby that's kind of come and gone in my life. I've took it up at times and put it back down for years, and then about 8 or 9 years ago, I decided that I wanted to learn how to crochet properly and learn how to read patterns and learn all of the jargon, if you like, around crochet.
Right.
Learn different stitches and things like that rather than just doing granny blankets, because I think all my friends and family was fed up of me doing them. And so I just wanted to develop it and learn more about it.
Right.
And I tried all different types of crochet, including Tunisian crochet, which is really like a hybrid of knitting and crocheting, I think.
Yeah.
And to amigurumi, which I really enjoy doing, which is like the little Japanese style dolls and things. Very cute, very cutesy, and they do like cups of coffee with faces on and things.
That
And
is
it's
that is my best-selling pattern, Jo.
yeah,
My
it's
cup of
lovely.
coffee.
The thing I like about amigurumi is you can make something up quite quickly. And you look at it, every one, you can make 10 of the same pattern, and every one comes out slightly differently
Yes.
and has a slightly different personality. It's really strange, but I really enjoy doing that style of crochet.
Right.
And so I was doing a lot of crochet and running out of spaces to put it. So I decided to sell the finished items on Etsy. And from there, then over the last few years, I've wanted to develop it more, and I've started to look at designing.
Yeah.
And it's not been until this year that I've decided and took the plunge, and set up a YouTube channel, where I'm going to be doing tutorials and things like that. Um, and I just want to. I really love crochet, and I love how it makes me feel, and both in the doing and the finished product.
Yes.
When you finish something and you look at it and wow, I made that.
I know.
That's
Right.
It's a really lovely feeling. And especially if you're gifting it to somebody or selling it to somebody. I remember when I first started, I made some little figures for somebody as a custom order, and they used them in their wedding. And it was such a privilege to think that some of my little crochet things were being used in their wedding,
Oh,
and that would be one of the pieces on their table. And it was really lovely. Some
that
little
is lovely.
amigurumi things it was. And you think, oh, it's such a boost to your self-esteem as well,
It is, and
even if it's just for yourself.
that is one of the I mentioned I did a post on my top 5 benefits, and that is one of them. It is a
Mhm. It's
massive boost
massive,
for your self-esteem.
because I don't think very often we get to make things anymore, and also I don't think very often, very true, don't be late. That is the only thing that keeps me sane as well. Um, and It's not very often we're able to see something through from start to finish.
Yes.
Oftentimes in our work, we're maybe doing a certain part of a whole thing. We're not actually seeing the thing finished. We're just a part in it.
Right.
So to actually take something in crochet and take it from a hook and some wool and perform magic, and then you've got a shawl. I just
Yeah,
think
exactly.
it's really lovely, and it does really boost your self-esteem.
And to make something with our hands as well.
Yeah, like you were saying, the feel of it, the mindfulness of it, it does keep you very present. And it's not, there's no snobbery around the type of wool that you use or the type of yarn that you use. It's all lovely.
And it's funny you mentioned that, actually. I do find, and so my mother knits, both of my grandmothers were knitters. I've got tons of friends who knit. I'm very much like you. It just didn't fit as much as crochet did for me. But the knitting community can be a bit snobby, I find.
Yeah. It's in some circles it is very much, if it's not proper wool and it's acrylic, then it's not as good. But I use lots of acrylic. There's I don't know if you have Stylecraft in.
Yes. I don't know if it's sold by anybody here, but it is something that you can get online over here.
Right. Yeah. Because their brands are acrylic. Stylecraft Special. They do it in double knit, Aran, chunky, and super chunky, I think. And they're just the range of colours and how soft it is. It's really lovely to work with. And they're £2 for a 100-gram ball of wool. It's not.
Yeah.
But it's nice to work with as proper wool.
It's it makes it accessible, doesn't it? Like from a financial perspective,
and especially at the minute with obviously here in the UK we've got high inflation and energy price rises, and so that's why I want to, through the teaching of it, I know that the pattern that is being used in this blog hop is normally a paid for pattern, but a lot of the items I'll be doing on my YouTube channel and on my blog will be free because I just want to share it. And like I said, there's no snobbery about what yarn people use or whatever they want to do. It's just getting people into it to enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. So we've already talked about this, but would you add anything else in terms of how crochet's positively impacted you?
I think I never would have foreseen it becoming my business, so to speak. And that's been nice because in the daytime it's very much the business side of it, and then in the evening I get to just sit and relax and crochet. And even if I'm crocheting things for sale, it's still relaxing. So it's not a burden. But I have depression and anxiety as well, and I find that it helps me so much. As you said, with mindfulness and being present, it shuts out the voices because you have to concentrate on the crochet. Because it just I can't crochet without looking. And so I know, so you see some people and they're like crocheting away and they don't even look, but I'm like, I have to look. I can't trust myself. But so I find that because I have to concentrate on it, even with a mindful pattern, I still have to concentrate. It does stop me that inner monologue that we were talking about, and it just makes me feel better.
Yes. Yeah. People in the comments are chatting about acrylic yarn. Don't Be Late is in Australia. Right. Yeah, welcome. So yes,
and that's the other thing, is they need to be washable.
Exactly.
And real wool is not machine washable, and as much as I've got used to washing hand washing wool, it's still a pain. I'd still rather put it in a washing machine.
So I do like There's a brand that is based in Seattle called Cascade.
Oh, yeah.
And they have synthetics, but they also do a lot of animal fibers. And they do superwash merino, and it is fantastic. I use it for baby blankets and things because it's so soft, but it's machine washable.
Yeah.
Right? It's which is just amazing. And you can even put it in the tumble dryer. You can do it on low, which, you know, I think my grandmother would have a fit if she saw me put something woolen in the tumble dryer. But yeah, there's premium acrylic. So I find, I don't know if Crochet 80 would agree, but I find that Lion Brand makes
they do some lovely ones. Heartland is really nice.
Yes,
and landscapes, that is beautiful. The colours are just stunning.
Yeah, definitely. And they have this I think it's called Basic. It's like an anti-pilling acrylic that's all sort of in like earth tones, neutral tones, which is gorgeous.
Because you have Lovecraft in America and Canada as well, don't you?
We do, yes.
Yeah, because we have it in the UK as well, and their own brand Paint Box is very good as well. I like their wools.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely, and I mean, we've got like Yarnspirations is like the umbrella company for, they bought Red Heart. Yes, they do Karen, they do Peyton's,
right,
Bernat, and they bought Red Heart as well, which was a really old US yarn company. And their stuff, that I like their stuff if it's sort of like a particular yarn that I want to fit to a particular project. So their blanket yarn is lovely, for example. But I'm trying to think. But yeah, like the and the Red Heart Soft is amazing for like Afghans. You can get it, you know, like they're the ones that come in the skeins that are like the size of a log.
Yeah. I think for me the main issue is how it feels to work with it.
Yeah,
and when you're working with some yarns and they're squeaky and they catch on the hook, that's my biggest bugbear. It's exactly, it goes through your teeth.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest bugbear, is how they feel to work with. And that doesn't matter to me whether it's a ball of wool that's cost £1 or a ball of wool that's cost £20. It's how it feels to work with.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I'm with you 100% on that one. Right, what's my next question for you?
I think the other aspect that as crochet has helped me with is and it goes on to this question as well, is the community. There's some really lovely crochet designers out there who are so kind and so helpful, including yourself, and so supportive. And it's not a competitive situation. It's just supportive and kind. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to take part in this event. It's not partly because mindfulness is really important to me with having depression and anxiety, but also because of the person behind it yourself being very kind and very honest. And like it said in one of the reviews that you had up on screen a bit ago, you walk the walk, and that's really important to me. And so that was why I wanted to take part in it, because like I said, it was just perfect for me. This is my first ever blog hop. It's only my second pattern, the shawl.
Are you serious? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So it's so I wanted. This is going to sound a bit weird, but I wanted my first time to be with somebody kind, and that would, and this whole theme and with the support you've given us in the run up to it has just been fantastic. So thank you.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah.
And I'm really, that makes me so happy because you know, I very much wanted to create an event that was as much as this phrase has been misused, but like a safe space,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and that people, because if people are looking at crochet as therapy, then it's probably because they're vulnerable in some way.
Exactly.
And so I wanted everybody to feel like, you know, it wouldn't be toxic in any way. You know, we'd all just sort of get together and share our love for this just amazing craft. So I'm so glad to hear that, Jo.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant.
That's made my day. Right, so tell us about your shawl. I didn't realise it was only your second pattern. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was my second pattern. I often find that I'll sit with a bit of wool and a needle and just try different stitches together.
Yeah.
And so this one came about from just having a play around with a bit of merino yarn that I had spare from something else, and just going through and trying different stitches together and seeing how it worked up in the different types of wool. And from that then I developed this, and I don't know if it's done before. I'm not claiming that it's a brand new stitch or anything like that, but it was the working together of the two stitches. It's a half treble, which is a half double treble in the US. Is that right?
It's
Half treble in UK.
Oh, a half double.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it's got the extra third loop.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And then the next stitch, so you've got a half treble and then a double treble, so twice the size next to each other.
Right, so double treble for you would be a treble.
So it's wrapping the wool round twice before you do the stitch.
Right.
And then when you then go back on yourself, you do a double treble into the half treble below.
Right.
But into the back loop only, and it creates this really nice texture. And that was what I wanted to get out of it, was to get that lovely texture. And the reason that I felt that this was very mindful and would be suitable for the event was because once you've set up, it's a 2-row repeat. So you increase on one row and then not the other, and it's very straightforward.
Yes.
And it creates like the triangular shape. But the couple of things about it that made it mindful was, if you don't want to block it at the end, because I know a lot of people don't like blocking, the texture is completely different before blocking.
Right.
It's really soft. Yeah.
Yes,
It's really soft and thick, and because you've got those two different heights of stitches, they pull each other in different ways.
Right.
And so it creates this really textured feeling that would make an ideal like little scarflet.
Yeah.
But if you did want to block it, then you can pull it quite aggressively and really get the pattern. And that's where the honeycomb name came from. It looks a bit like a honeycomb.
Opens
And
up.
then it almost doubles in size. It's are lovely. Yeah. So if you wanted to block it, you can. But if you don't want to block it, you don't have to. It's again, it's a 4-ply wool. So if you wanted, I've used like I said, a merino wool with superwash, and from a sock blank. I'd never used one of them before. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I remember your video on those.
Yeah, and then so if you want to use that kind of wool, then treat yourself and try it. If you've never tried it before, try. There's some beautiful dyers of wool in the UK and in America and Canada that they work magic with wools. I mean, the wool I've used in the pattern was from a lady in Ireland, and the colours is so hard to capture on in a photo.
Yeah.
Because there's yellows, there's pinks, there's blues, greens, purples. It's so beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. She does her colours are inspired by the scenery around where she lives in Ireland. And it's just beautiful. And if you want to treat yourself, like I said, treat yourself and take your time and choose some lovely wool. Because that's half the fun as well, isn't it? It's choosing the wool. It's playing with wool in a shop. Isn't
it? There's creating things with yarn, and then there's buying yarn.
Two separate hobbies.
Completely separate hobbies.
My husband will agree with that.
It's good. What you're saying has really got me thinking, because I'm like, there's often wool that, well, it's not wool. There's often yarn that I don't get, even though I love the colors or the softness, because it's say made out of plant fibers, which don't block very well. So and I am an avid blocking fan. I block.
I wasn't, but I am now.
Yeah, I block everything, because it just makes everything, even if it doesn't, like if it's cotton and it's not going to change its shape, it just makes everything look nice and flat and professional, finished, I think. But yeah, like, you know, there'd be like lovely cotton yarns that
I mean, there's a European shop called Hobby. Do you have that in?
Oh yes.
Yeah. And they do a type of yarn called Cotton King's Twirls, which is like a rainbow cotton cake. I think that shawl would look lovely in that, unblocked.
Yes.
Because it would just look so pretty. The colour and the stitch definition would really work nicely together.
Yeah. I've got one of the bonus patterns that will only be available to people who buy the ebook. Is I've called it the Raspberry Ripple Wrap, because
that's nice to say.
Yeah, I know, right?
Raspberry Ripple Wrap.
The colour of the yarn is very similar to one of those hobby or sheep keys.
I never know how to say that. Yeah, the whirlies.
The whirls.
Yeah, the whirls. Yeah, those. Yeah.
So it's very similar to that, but it's by Estelle yarns. And it's cotton, and I got it because it's cotton and acrylic, so I can block it.
Yeah.
I can steam block it. But yeah, it goes from sort of like a deep raspberry color to this sort of creamy, like ice cream color. So I'm really excited about sharing that,
because it's amazing the difference that the colors of the yarn will make to the finished item.
100%.
So it's lovely when you see crochet designers saying, please share pictures with me of your makes. We are genuinely asking, because we love it. Isn't it? I love seeing what other people have made with my stuff, because then I look at it and go, oh, that looks nice.
Right. Oh, I wouldn't have thought to use those colours together, but that looks really good. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really nice. So when you see people saying that, please do share them with us.
Yeah, exactly.
We genuinely mean it.
We're not saying it to get clout on social media. We really, really want to see your stuff. Right. So then, Jo, what would you tell someone considering whether or not to take up crochet as a therapeutic craft?
I just think go for it. You've got absolutely nothing to lose rather. If you want to start crocheting and money is an issue, then I'm sure that you might have friends or family or people on Facebook or whatever that you could ask to donate you or to lend you a couple of hooks and a bit of wool.
Right.
It doesn't need to cost the earth to try it. As we've mentioned, you probably will get addicted to wool and yarn, but that's later down the line. Don't worry about that at this minute.
Right.
But you can try it for nothing. And there's so many resources available online with pattern sites and websites like Ravelry and that kind of thing as well. As a nice community. And just finding the people that you like to learn from.
Yes.
And just giving it a go. If you do something and it doesn't work, you undo it, but enjoy the feeling of doing it.
Right.
It's not a bad thing in crochet to undo what you've done and start again.
No, exactly. And crochet is so forgiving of mistakes too.
Exactly.
You know, it's like it's not this disaster.
It's not precious.
Yes, exactly. And you know, just I do that whole Elsa thing quite a lot. You know, just let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Don't get attached because it's totally okay. How we learn from our mistakes.
Exactly.
So yeah,
I made a top following a pattern that was like a granny hexagon.
Oh yeah.
Really lovely. But I did it in my size, and when I tried it on, it just didn't fit right. So I put it in the drawer and ignored it for about 6 months. And then I thought, no, I need to do something with it. And I just undid it and just slightly modified it in the sewing it together, and it fits lovely now. So it's
that's lovely.
There's nothing wrong with like you say, undoing something and redoing it to suit you. So when you're working from a pattern, if there's a particular thing that you don't feel comfortable or you want to try something different, then that's the beauty of it.
Right.
And don't I can be a bit of a perfectionist sometimes, but with crochet you just have to let it go, like you say, because it's unique to you.
Right.
And the thing that you make at the end of it, you will have enjoyed making as much as you enjoy using. And that's half the fun, is the actual making.
Exactly. And that's very much one of the principles that I think is really important about mindful crochet is that you enjoy the process. Just really, you know, like what's the word, squeeze the lemon until the pips squeak. You know, for the people in my program, we have like I prompt them every Friday to share their wins, and I make them find something that they're really proud of. And it can be as something as like, oh, I did like a 10 stitch swatch of single crochet or something. But that's like, yeah, good for you. Awesome.
I've put them in the background because they're my latest thing at the minute. I've been making to sell at craft fairs is these little plants in metal pots. And my win for this week was the soil on it looks really nice. It's just a single crochet, just soil in the pot. And it looks really nice. It's really neat.
Right.
So that's my win for this week.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I last week was the International Day of the Stim, and I had planned all my plans always go haywire. I had planned to release a bonus pattern for this that is like a sensory toy. It's a squish ball.
Right.
So I was getting all like totally stressed out about it and not having had it ready for Saturday. And I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? Why am I putting all of this stress on myself? So yeah, I've just been I'm like, I made this because I really like these things. So just enjoy it. Just enjoy squishing your little ball. Just, you know, like, don't get all stressed out.
And take the fun out of it, because it is fun. It is fun, and especially if you're trying something new, or you're trying to improve how you do something, then it's such a boost. Like I said, I got really excited with the soil because it was just so neat, and that's such a silly thing, really, to get excited about, but it is, and I felt better for it.
Right. Yeah. No, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, Jo, this has been so nice.
Good. It's been lovely.
Yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. It's been really nice.
I have got, let's see here. So I'm going to sort of share a bunch of stuff about like links and things in a sec. But first I wanted to say, if anybody has questions for me or for Jo, definitely ask questions about Jo, because she's like way more fascinating than me. And I would love if you shared your biggest takeaway from this video, because knowing what people are getting out of something is really helpful for people who are wanting to know what people want to watch. So we'll go back to the questions, but you ask them from wherever you are. I'll see them, whether they're YouTube or Facebook. And in the interim, so all of the links to stuff that I've talked about so far are in the description box on YouTube. They are not in the Relax and Hook Facebook event, because Facebook doesn't like me posting links today. So what I'm going to do is I've got a plan. No, me and my plans. But I'm going to do a blog post for each of these interviews that I've done with each of these designers, because there's things that they mentioned. So, for example, Jo has actually written about crochet as a mental health support. So I want to link to her article that she wrote about that. So I'll put together a blog post for this and all the other interviews with all sorts of hopefully interesting links in, and then I will share that with you folks. I'll put the link to the blog post in the description box, but I'll also, share it on my social media so that you can check it out. Right, so Crochet 80 said, I liked hearing her describe the textural aspects of the shawl. I'm very tactile. Yes, 100%.
I like what she said before that is Jackie. About kissing frogs. It took me ages to realise what people were talking about when talking about frogging things. And it's just because when you undo something, you have to rip it. So it sounds like a frog.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realise that that's what frogging meant.
That's so funny. I've lost my. I was going to say about the texture. Oh yeah. I'm really, really big into using different crochet stitches. So like you have in the shawl, you've used what I'd call half double and a treble. but using, so like in the griddle stitch, which is also called the lemon peel stitch, you use like singles and doubles. And then there's the nubby stitch pattern, which uses singles and trebles.
They just change the structure of each other, don't they, when you put them side by side?
And like when you compare the griddle stitch with the crumpled griddle stitch, exactly the same stitches, just with the griddle you work single crochets into the double crochets in the row 4, and with the crumpled griddle you do singles in singles and doubles in doubles. You get completely different texture. And I love that. I love having this ability to create different textures by combining stitches, and not having to necessarily do like complicated cabling or you know, puff stitches or bobbles or whatever, you know.
And unlike knitting, when you're doing cabling and things, you don't need any extra needles.
Right.
With crochet, it's just you do it with the same hook, so it doesn't add any particular fiddliness to it that knitting does.
Right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And I really enjoy Tunisian crochet as well. I really enjoy that, and the way that is completely different from crochet. This sometimes you would look at it and not recognize it as crochet at all.
Yeah.
And that is one of the things that I love about crochet, is that there's so many different types of it.
Yeah.
I think you can be trying forever and not try everything.
Right. Yes. No, we're always learning. I love that. I love that. So yeah, Joanne, made with love and fibers, says it's just lovely to hear about others' experiences with crochet and how it benefits each of us.
Definitely.
So yeah, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks for participating in Relax and Hook.
I've loved it.
And thanks for having a chat with me.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Evening, I guess, for you.
Yes, 5 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. Well, go get your tea.
Will do. We're having chippies. It's Thursday, so we're having chippies from the chip shop.
Nice. Oh, now you're making me jealous. Have a chip butty for me.
I will do.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.